I bought the place sight unseen. An old farmhouse on 10 acres in rural Missouri, built in the 1890s, listed cheap because the previous owners moved suddenly. I figured it was a steal, quiet, isolated, perfect for someone who works from home and likes his space. When I drove up the gravel road that first day, the house looked exactly like the photos. 2 stories, peeling white paint, wraparound porch sagging on one side, tall weeds choking the yard, no neighbors for half a mile. I liked that most of all. The first week was peaceful. Unpacked boxes, fixed a leaky faucet, slept like a rock. The only thing that struck me as odd was how quiet it was at night. No crickets, no wind through the trees. Just the house settling, creaking in the beams like it was breathing. I chalked it up to being far from the city. Then the small things started. One morning, I found my coffee mug on the kitchen floor, unbroken, handle up like someone had gently placed it there. I remembered setting it on the counter the night before. The next day, a book I'd left on the living room table was open to a random page on the porch swing. Again, no damage. I laughed it off. Maybe I was more tired than I thought, sleepwalking or something. But 3 nights later, I woke up to a loud thud from the kitchen, like a heavy book dropped from chest height. I lay there listening, heart picking up. Then another. Closer, maybe the hallway. I got up, flipped on the light, nothing out of place. But on the floor in the hall, my keys. I'd left them on the nightstand. I started paying attention. Objects moved when I wasn't looking. A chair pulled out from the table while I was in the shower. My laptop charger yanked from the wall and coiled neatly on the rug. Never broken, never violent, just deliberate. Like something was testing me, seeing how long I'd ignore it. Then it got louder. One evening, I was cooking dinner when a cabinet door slammed shut behind me, hard enough to rattle the dishes inside. I spun around, empty kitchen. My pulse was in my throat. That night, lying in bed, I heard footsteps upstairs, slow, heavy, pacing the hallway above my bedroom. The house had been empty up there. I'd checked, but the steps were unmistakable. Heel to toe, deliberate, like someone in boots walking the same path over and over. I grabbed my phone, recorded audio. In the playback, you can hear them clear as day, creak of floorboards, pause at the top of the stairs, then back again. I played it for a friend over the phone. He went quiet. "That's not settling," he said. "That's someone walking." The next week, it escalated. Things started flying. I was reading in the living room when a glass from the kitchen counter lifted, floated, about 3 feet, then dropped and shattered. No wind, no earthquake, just gone. I jumped up, heart slamming. Minutes later, a picture frame on the mantel tilted forward and crashed face down. As I laid the frame on the mantel to clean up, I noticed an old black and white family picture stuffed down in a crack between the bricks. Old enough that it may have been the family that built the home. The hair on the back of my neck stood up as I examined it. I researched the property. The county records showed the last owners left after 6 months, citing unexplained disturbances. Before them, a family in the 1970s reported objects moving on their own to the local paper. One article mentioned a poltergeist, things thrown, doors slamming, footsteps in empty rooms. The house had sat vacant for years after that. I tried to rationalize. Drafts, old wiring, stress from the move. But the activity didn't stop. It got personal. One night, I woke to every door in the house slamming in sequence. Kitchen, hallway, bathroom. Like something was storming through, looking for me. I sat up in bed, frozen. Just then, my barely open bedroom door slowly creaked inward. I jumped out, turned on the light. Nothing. Just an unsettling feeling, as though I was being watched. The light stayed on until morning. I never did get back to sleep. I called a local paranormal investigator, half joking, half desperate. He came with equipment, EMF readers, voice recorders. We set up in the living room. Nothing happened for hours. Then, right as we were packing up, a heavy book flew off the shelf across the room and hit the wall beside him. He jumped back, pale. "That's a poltergeist," he said. "Active, focused, and it clearly doesn't like outsiders." He left. I stayed, stubborn, or stupid. But the last night I spent there, it reached a peak. I was in the kitchen making tea when every drawer and cabinet opened at once. Silverware rattled, plates shifted. Then silence. I turned, and the back door was wide open. Cold night air poured in. Footsteps, real, heavy, started on the porch, coming toward the threshold. I backed away, heart in my mouth. The steps stopped just outside the doorway. I couldn't see anything in the dark, but I felt it staring. I slammed the door, locked it, deadbolt. Ran up the hall, barricaded in the bedroom. All night long, the house shook. Doors banging, thuds on walls, something dragging across the floor above me. At dawn, it stopped. Completely. I moved out the next day, packed in a frenzy, left half my stuff. The realtor didn't ask questions. He just took the keys back and let me know he would list it again. Now I understand why he was so excited when I purchased it. Thankfully, it sold only 5 months later. I live in a new apartment now, city noise, neighbors above and below. No quiet, no settling creaks. But sometimes, late at night, I wake up feeling watched, and I wonder if whatever was in that house followed me, or if it's just waiting for the next person to move in. I still check the county records sometimes. The farmhouse is back on the market, vacant again, price even lower. If you're looking for cheap rural property, maybe don't buy that one. The void remembers every creak, every thud, and sometimes it throws things to remind you it's still there.